My name is Scott Burke. I am the CEO and founder of Ballerz.
Tell us a little bit more about Ballerz and how it got started.
All right, the Ballerz actually originated from me getting tossed out or asked to leave from Nordstrom's Rack on two separate occasions when I went there during COVID to buy another brand of high-end underwear that's manufactured with two X's at the end of it.
Tell us how it all got started. Was it just because you couldn't buy underwear during COVID?
The brand actually started because the URL was available. I was having a conversation with some buddies and the term Ballerz just kept coming up, so I happened to look on GoDaddy to see if the URL was available, and shockingly it was. So I went and secured the URL. Later on down the road, had a conversation with an attorney, did a trademark search for me, found out that the trademark was open, and I just decided to move forward and create men's premium underwear called Ballerz.
So that was it? Just because you were like, I'm going to go men's underwear, I love the Ballerz name, so it's got to be men's underwear, or did you think about anything else?
No, I just thought that men's underwear was a perfect choice to start the brand Ballerz with. And I felt like there was improvements that could be made in a drastic way over what the high-end competitors were charging versus what they were delivering on product quality, fabric, the longevity of the product, etc., etc.
That's great. Instead of etc., can you tell us more about how Ballerz boxer briefs stand out from other competitors in the marketplace?
Sure. Ballerz stands out in the marketplace absolutely by the design of the fabric. The Tinsel fabric is well known throughout the fabric community as the most eco-friendly moisture wicking fabric on the planet. It's used for two products: underwear, high-end lingerie, and bedding sheets. It's just, once you touch the Tinsel fabric, there's nothing that compares. Not bamboo, certainly not cotton, and not a modal blend. It's just a far superior product.
Do any other brands in the boxer brief or men's underwear use Tinsel fabric?
As far as I know, I do not know any other brand that is using the Tinsel fabric at this time.
What type of fabric do most brands use?
Most brands are still using cotton or a cotton blend, or they're using a rayon blend, which is a synthetic, or they use a modal blend, which all of which is a synthetic, and they're not eco-friendly, and most of them, in addition to using those fabrics, uses a spray-on chemical for the moisture wicking. The great thing about the Tinsel fabric is the moisture wicking. It's naturally moisture wicking, so you don't have to spray on chemicals to have that feature.
Can you explain more what moisture wicking does?
Yeah, so moisture wicking it pulls the sweat away from your body and into the fabric. So it basically absorbs it into the fabric away from your skin. So you're not sitting there just sweating like you see, all the people sweating in their underarms. Well, in guys, you can't see it because it's normally covered up with shorts or jeans or whatever, but every other fabric, you're just sitting there day after day in sweat. Especially here in Phoenix, where it gets up to 100 plus degrees 30, 60 days out of the summer.
So, question on moisture wicking fabric that gets sprayed on with the chemicals, does that withstand during normal washing?
So the moisture wicking that's sprayed on will start to break down the minute you wash it one time, and it just continues to break down wash after wash after wash until after a dozen or so washes there really is no moisture wicking. It just becomes like any other fabric.
So essentially Tinsel fabric has moisture wicking built in, and that's why?
Correct. The moisture wicking is built into the Tinsel fabric. As long as you don't wash it on hot water or dry it on high heat, the moisture wicking should last for a very long time.
How can you tell what type of fabric you have in your underwear?
When you touch Tinsel fabric, it's almost immediate. You can tell the difference between Tinsel fabric and every other fabric out there on the market. And you can always just default to the tag on the back of your underwear because it's going to declare what type of fabric it's made out of.
Nice. Obviously, you just have to read the tag, but can't you almost instantly tell from the touch of the fabric? How would you explain that when you touch Tinsel fabric versus cotton or a cotton blend?
So the best way to explain the Tinsel product over its cotton or any type of blend is when we test market it, we would just hand it to our test models and instantly it touches your hand. It's like it's got a built-in ice tray. It's instantly cooling. The fabric itself is like an ice cube. It's instantly cooling.
And can you explain like the breathability and the movement of having a Tinsel fabric versus other fabrics that are on the market?
Yeah, so the best way to explain the fabric as far as its flexibility and sustainability is it's similar to nylon, but it's much more breathable. Where nylon keeps the heat in, Tinsel actually is a breathing fabric, so it lets the heat out. The best way to describe the fit of the Tinsel product is it's just comfortable to wear. It almost feels like you're wearing nothing at all. It's so smooth and elastic. It's like a second skin. It moves with you. And I've had dozens and dozens of people that have bought product that have just said, it's almost like I'm not wearing anything at all. So for all those free ballers out there, you ought to try yourself a set of Ballerz because that way you're protecting the family, the family nest egg down there.
So speaking of the nest egg or the jewels or whatever you want to call them, how well does the 3D pocket secure them?
So to describe the 3D pocket on Ballerz is compared to the competition that uses a pouch, they basically take two little thin strips of fabric and they just sew it inside the normal pair of underwear, which is straight up and down. Well, men aren't built straight up and down. Men are built with some frontal, and the bigger the man, the more size of a pocket that they need. So Ballerz is designed, the bigger sizes have a bigger pocket and it's three-dimensional. So instead of just having a flat front, it has the 3D front. So the boys have their entire room because real men need a pocket, not a pouch.
Nice. And how about the durability compared to other brands on the market?
Ballerz durability is second to none. The fabric is such that as long as you don't wash it on hot water or dry it on hot water, they should last 50 washes. Personally, I have a drawer full of Ballerz that I've had back from day one. They've never been washed on hot water. The band is still, it's not wilted, and they fit like day one.
So during the development of the product, did you go through multiple stages? Is this just a one and done, or how did you come to where the product is now?
That's a great question. So how we started Ballerz, we basically started with a prototype that I hand wrote out on a piece of paper, and I sent it to a fashion designer and had a mock-up of the first product. Had one sample done up in several different colors, and we tested it. I had 20 to 25 male models of all different shapes and sizes, and they provided me the feedback on the waistband and the touch and the length and the pocket and the size of it. And we went back a second time and a third time and a fourth time, and finally in the fourth time I settled when I was told that the Ballerz product was superior by a level of 10x to all the other major high-end brands. That's when we went to manufacture the bulk order.
Curious, what were some of the feedback during the early stages?
The feedback during the early stages of Ballerz were that the modern man likes the thicker waistband because it doesn't fold over, and it needed to be very flexible and soft so that it doesn't cut into your skin, especially if you're a desk jockey and you sit down all day like a banker or a politician or whatever. Sitting down all day, underwear has a tendency to just turn over and then cut into your stomach. So we wanted to make sure that our waistband, number one, starting with that, was soft and didn't cut into your skin.
And any other feedback on the pocket or the fabric?
So coming down from the waistband, then you move into the design of the underwear itself. And after the waistband, the second thing that we wanted to create was make sure that we had a seamless sitting area so that when you sat down, you weren't sitting on seams. And surprisingly, some of the major brands, some of the more popular major brands, when you sit down, you're still sitting on two very thick seams, which is uncomfortable. So the back of Ballerz has no seams. So when you sit down, you're just sitting on the fabric itself and you're not having to sit on seams. When you move forward and we have the pocket, it gives the boys that extra room they need so that they're not smashed up against your body, which creates friction, which creates heat, which creates sweat. We designed it so that they are very comfortable to wear. They don't ride up. The leg bands are a medium length, and the reason we went with the medium length band versus the really longer version or the really short version is you tend to find out if the leg band rests on the largest part of the thigh, it's going to stay there. If you make the leg band too narrow and you go closer to the knee, it's going to ride up. It's just natural because the muscle on the leg is going to pull it up. So ours breaks at the largest muscle part of the leg, which keeps them in place.
So the Ballerz boxer briefs don't ride?
They don't ride, and they don't pill. The fabric doesn't pill.
What does it mean by peel?
Pill. When a fabric pills, it's P-I-L-L. It's those nasty little dots you get mostly on the cheaper fabrics, cotton, but you can also get them on any other product if you wash the product in hot water. And those are those tiny little balls that you see that get all over t-shirts, underwear, and just about any type of fabric.
So curious, obviously the models with giving the feedback were comparing your underwear, Ballerz boxer briefs, to probably all the other underwear they wore. What were some of the complaints that they had about their current high-end underwear?
The biggest complaints that Ballerz wanted to overcome with our initial design was number one, the waistband. Guys would complain that the waistband was too thin, it was too tight, it cut off, it made marks around their stomach. Another complaint was that they just did not last. That they would pay, $25, $30, $40 for a pair of underwear, and a month later, after washing them a couple times, they were very thin, there was holes in them, or they would pill.
And obviously when they started wearing the Ballerz boxer briefs, what were their instant reactions?
The instant reaction to Ballerz is the minute you put them on, it's an instant cooling effect, and then you forget about it. Hours can go by and you're in the middle of your day and you realize, holy cow, it's really like I don't even have underwear on at all.
So if you were to summarize Ballerz boxer briefs, how would you explain it from start to end, where you want to see it go?
To summarize Ballerz from conception to going to market, it has always been my goal since day one was to put our product out on the market that was far superior to any other name brand product out there as far as the fit, the feel, the functionality, and long lasting and wearability. I did not want to put anything out there that did not meet all those criteria, and I believe that we've nailed it. The feedback that I've received from customers over the past few months after our launch has been extremely positive.
And where would you like to see Ballerz as a brand go?
Definitely would like to grow out into other products, but as we grow out into other apparel products, our number one goal is to be whatever we produce, it's going to be the best of the best.